Meeting to order, Griggs County Commission, stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call. John, Dale, Ron, John, here. Troy. Everybody's here. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda? Sheriff Hook has to be added to the agenda, so I put him right after the monthly office reports. We'll talk about this meeting with North Dakota Tax Department when we talk about tax director. Is there anything else?
About what time did you have Bob at?
Whenever he gets here.
Okay.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
Amended.
It's moved by Sean to approve the agenda as amended. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Seconded by Dale. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Take a look at the minutes from the 23rd of June.
On the first page it shows that I voted for paying bills. That couldn't have happened.
Okay.
Cut and paste.
Gets me every time.
You got here late, didn't you?
He didn't get here.
Oh, you didn't get here at all.
If you call this meeting late, yo.
I was late to the meeting before.
Also on that first page, I think Retzlaff is LAFF instead of LOFF.
Yeah.
L.A.
Yeah.
That's off.
Move to approve the minutes as presented and amended.
On the last sentence before the motion to adjourn, it says something about future business, and it says there was no discuss on. I think there needs to be an I in between the O and the S.
You're right.
Been moved by Sean to approve the minutes as corrected. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Ron. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, we'll go through the bills. Anything notable in there? I didn't see anything.
Question on the insurance. Is that for this building or everything?
It's for I think it's
What page?
Second page, 5.
it's for Bank Forward, right?
And then is the premium change then? Was that supposed to change after we got moved in here?
Thought so.
Insured.
I thought it was going to go down a whole bunch after
Right.
we got in here.
It's supposed to.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be somebody needs to notify the agent that they told you.
I notified them that we were in here.
Okay.
Did it go down?
I just don't know. GL renewal and equipment renewal and auto policy.
Oh,
And then there
general
was,
liability.
and then state fire and tornado is also in here, I think.
But it was supposed to be a substantial drop in the premium once we got in here, if I recall.
But this
Yeah.
isn't property though.
Well, but
This is just auto, equipment, and general liability.
this is the,
Road graders.
oh,
Insurance.
I don't think state fire, I don't see it.
don't
A
we?
North Dakota Insurance Department.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh,
That was that insurance too.
it's $873.
Yeah.
So it's not the property one, then, or the building.
This is commercial building and personal property.
It was,
But I don't know what it's for. It sure isn't for this building.
Say what?
Sure not for this building.
They can't, the state fire and tornado can't insure this side of the building because the county doesn't own it. I went through this.
yeah.
They can't insure the EOC side.
No, they can't insure the courthouse side. They can insure, I don't know if we got, I don't think we even got the EOC side because there's no firewall dividing them.
Yeah, there is.
I think I tried to send documentations or whatever. And because those doors, there's some doors that aren't all the way fireproof or something, or the fire could get underneath the door or something like that, they wouldn't take it.
Oh.
But somebody's insuring it, right?
Yep, insure forward is.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the one that's,
Premium was
that was the
supposed
one
to
that's
go down
supposed
once
to
it was
drop.
occupied.
Yeah,
The entire building.
yeah.
Right, yeah. So, page 5, sheriff, general training, $1,250.
Page 5.
Keepers.
Keepers.
Defensive driving classes.
Bob said he hit a deer on the way out to an accident where a guy hit a deer and rolled his car.
Oh, who did it do?
Wesley.
Wes hit a deer. What's that little gray Ford?
Oh, just recently.
Over the 4th that weekend, I think.
That's weird, that's, this general training is for 3 new Glock 19s. With, Glock night sights and clear sights.
Should come out of equipment, not training.
Is it the same account number on the invoice as it is in here so that Lori doesn't make any mistakes putting it in on the front of it? The account number that it comes out of, it should be like 1,000.
902 is the last one.
It says training and equipment and expense report.
903.
903. So that's our dad there.
That's the right amount.
Hold on. Nope, it's 902.
Yeah.
1,000,
Training and
4211,
equipment, it says.
902.
Oh, training and equipment.
Yep.
And expense
Yep.
report.
So So I wonder what happened to the other weapons.
A lot of shootouts at Warmo. I think they do a lot of target.
They do a lot of target practice. But I mean, is that a trade-in price or what happens to the old weapons?
Yeah.
If that's
Well,
what-
3 of them would, if you went and bought 3 of them, it'd be more than that.
Oh, I know. But I mean, there's a special price for law enforcement. When Bob gets here, we'll have him show it to us.
Target up there on the wall.
Wonder why they buy Glocks. I don't like them.
You don't like them?
They don't have safeties on
No, they kind of do.
them. The hammer, so there's no safety.
No, it's squeeze. You know, you gotta squeeze. You gotta
So you have to
the
squeeze
back.
in the grip, isn't it?
Yeah, it's squeeze
Yeah.
in the grip. I got 3-4 blocks. Never shot myself yet.
I think mine's a FX or
Yeah.
FNX.
Well, I kind of like Glocks.
That has ambidextrous safety and stuff on it.
Yeah, no, this is you gotta squeeze the back side of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a 9.
Hmm?
Like a 9.
Yeah, same type thing. Yep.
Anything else in the bills?
We'll go through the bills as presented.
The move by Sean to approve the bills as presented. Is there a second to the motion? Seconded by Dale. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Ron? Sean?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries. Monthly reports.
The only thing that has changed since I sent it to you last night and since I gave it to you, Troy, was the water board gave me their information, which is on 21, and it keeps going until 40.
Okay.
I got a question on page 20.
Yes. I'll try and answer.
So they start with 166,426.88 balance.
From me.
June 1st. yeah.
Okay. That's their checking account balance. Correct? Okay.
Looks like they're almost out of money from their budget and they haven't even gotten, I mean, we're only halfway through.
Yeah, they had an 88. $83,000 budget and they're down to spend $56,000 on it. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
What page is that on?
23. Here they clearly illustrate that the mill levy is going into those legal drains on page 25. But then there's none of them have ever been done correctly. Is that right?
Probably from the beginning of time, they've never.
No, I don't think Connie has ever set up a levy for any of them, has she? One of them.
Well, it appears like two drains have had some sort of levy. Do we think, Ron, or not?
I think it's a maintenance levy.
Right, we can't determine whether or
Not
not.
the construction levy.
No, so that's a question we need to ask of the water board. We'd like to see a synopsis of the levies for all drains, construction and maintenance. Because right now there are two drains being levied, correct?
Well, yeah, but according to Samantha,
What?
well, I'm gonna wake you up. Because I had asked you that about the levies on the drains and the special assessments, and you've gone with Bob Nix.
Yep.
And you said that there has never been any levies set up for any drain, right?
No
Oh, okay.
levies. There's like the special assessments or the specials on those properties have been set up, but they haven't been set up in the way that is easy to find, I guess.
I thought they were not set up at all.
Well, I don't know if I'm really understanding like the whole
Okay.
like what they're kind of talking about. Connie says they're in there.
Oh, okay.
Connie says they're in the system.
It should be a special assessment though, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
But I know your one email said to me, no special assessments have ever
Got a new
been set
gun?
up.
those
You got a new gun?
Yep.
those haven't been put into like the for the legal drain wise. The drain wise. They haven't been so they've been set up in a different way. Connie knows that they're in there. We just don't know what they've been in there as. Jeez. I don't know.
How do you know when you quit if they're
I don't know.
because they don't go on forever? Not if they're construction,
They're only supposed to be like that Karnak one,
Sure.
like a 20-year levy.
right? Somebody must know something.
Yeah, because that's what I was asking, like, which parcels are being levied and stuff. And you said you didn't have that information.
Yeah, because Bob says that they're not in there.
Okay.
He says no data's in there, but Connie says that they are in there.
Okay. So can we request from Connie or Bob or somebody a breakdown of the levies that they have for all drains, current or completed, construction and maintenance? So we can look at, see what the taxpayers have paid and when they've paid it and what they have left to pay. Is that possible?
We're trying to work on it. I think that because I had asked Connie, I'm like, what do you think they're in there as? And then she was gonna help me look, but that we were working on the abstract or whatever.
So can you make that request of the water board also? Because I think it's possible that maybe some of the monies are paid for the maintenance right to the water board. Is that possible, Jimmy?
Money is paid for them.
For maintenance of these drains, are there, they showed us revenue, and if it's not coming from the
levy.
the levy in from the county right into a check. I mean, we don't have, where's it coming from?
It must be coming into the county though, right?
Well, we better figure it out.
It should be.
It should be, is right, yeah.
Should and is are a long ways apart sometimes.
I don't see how the water board would. I have no idea how it's operated.
Well, that funny agreement that they have with us in the Cooperstown drain with the city of Cooperstown, the city wrote them a check for $5,000, right?
Yeah, that was never
I mean,
assessed
that's
and
never
levied like
levied.
it should have been. And this
I've heard that
city,
many times over those years of the meetings, that was always brought up once a year.
yeah, the city of Cooperstown.
And it shouldn't have had to have been. Should have
No,
been
no,
a
it should- they
special
should have been
assessment and it
assessed.
should have just been done.
Just like doing the streets.
Yeah, they should have been assessed, but, and the same way with the construction part of it, that was a gentleman's
Because
agreement.
you
They
can't
just
change
took-
your mind
You're
10
right.
years from now.
I may be wrong, but I think the city got some money to cover that into to them specifically.
Oh, really?
And he paid out of that for that drain. I think there was something like that. I remember that went on.
The health department gave them money for that because
skeeters.
that's how they got it
Mosquitoes.
through the,
Yep. And then part of that, they, with that money, they're responsible to maintain that. I know that was a big deal there for about 2 years straight.
because
Because it's
Patty Pepper, the doctor at that time,
Yeah.
said it was a health risk, and that's how they got it drained down through the Corps of Engineers, gave their consent because of the health risk.
Because they altered Cherry Creek.
Yeah,
That was a long time ago then.
yeah,
Before my day. I got listened to it all.
yeah, that's right. So we gotta, can we see if we can get this, some more information?
Yep. I'll be working on that. And then what do you want from the water board?
We'd like to have we'd like to have a breakdown of all drain levies, past or present, for construction and maintenance.
Okay.
That's fine.
And on that, you want the start date and the end date of the.
Yeah.
The start and end date and the amounts.
Yeah, amount, yeah, the duration.
Okay. Well, Bob, we're just talking about monthly office report, so this is probably a good time for you to
Yeah.
do your deal.
It was worth it. Well, the reason I'm here, been back and forth on this, but I am looking to hopefully I'm retire September 1st.
What?
Yeah. That's my projection right now.
Really?
I've got a vision issue that's not returnable, so.
Really?
yeah. So that being the case, I guess, I'll put that in writing and make it official probably next week. I'll send it to Sam.
So there's disability through ND PERS or something?
No, they would just have me find a different job. You know, I could probably retrain myself with a gun. I don't want to take that chance. We did hunter safety with the kids for Hannaford.
It's just one eye or something?
This one, my dominant shooting eye. So I couldn't hit a trap shot anymore. So
Oh.
yeah, just some things like it's just time. So
You'll still be able to collect retirement when the
Yep.
time comes up. Yeah.
the one how it's going to affect me financially when the day comes where I can draw that is so minimal. It's not really an issue. So.
It isn't a big deal, though.
No,
Because you have enough experience or something?
yeah, I've got almost 33 years.
Oh, so you met the Rule 85.
I will meet it at 55, but if I don't touch nothing, when I get 55, I can draw it. Because I'm invested way beyond my investment date, so.
Okay.
So, how do you recommend that we proceed forward then
Well-
with handling that? What do you recommend for the transition?
Do we have to have special election?
Well,
There's,
what-
it depends how much time is between my
That's right.
resignation
That's
and
right. Sure.
the election date. And that's something I had to check out before I got the meeting. This last 2 days have been pretty silly, haven't got a chance to even make phone calls, so.
Sure.
Me personally, I'd have to recommend Wesley. He's totally capable of doing the job. He totally understands the administrative side of it. Right now, Mark is having some struggles in his life, and
Oh, really?
I would have to say at this time that would be a decision that would probably cause you guys some grief
So,
in some manner. And my thoughts on appointment of Wesley are just I know he's fully capable of doing the work completely. I think with his technology prowess and that, he'll be able to do some things moving forward, make some streamline some things computer-wise and with the office. And I think appointing him is a good deal. I think it's good for you guys. I think it's good for the citizens. It's like a trial run. He'll have to run for election at some point soon.
Right, but it gives him a hell of a leg up.
Yeah, it does.
So, so under that scenario, then if the commission agreed to appoint Wesley interim with some provisions, then would you then be his mentor between now and September? Would
Yes,
you,
I would.
Would
Yes, I
that
would.
be the transition period?
Yes, it would. And Henderson did the same thing with me. I've been letting Wes take some reins on some things. He made a transition about, I'd say, a little over 2 years ago. It seemed like when Justin left, he blossomed for whatever reason.
Mhm.
It complete absolute change around. Not that he was doing bad. He just went to the next level of his profession.
So could we appoint him with the caveat that at the end of the training period, we could revisit that appointment?
I'm not sure on that, Jamie. Do you know? I'd have to research that.
Well, I think,
So I know once you appoint him, he has full duties and rights as a sheriff, and it's almost like he's an acting elected
Yeah,
official.
oh, correct.
Yeah.
I think what you could do, and I'd have to do some research, is appoint someone as an interim sheriff for a time period, but I'd have to look at,
Yeah, I know you can do that. There could be a filling
Some research on that.
position.
I guess as far as, my 2 cents, I guess, as far as Wesley being capable, talked to a couple of you guys about it before in passing, and I think Wesley's capable of the job. I think that he's kind of taken the administrative capacity in the last year or so, and I think he's done a good job of it. So I think as far as him being appointed, at least to an interim sheriff for the sheriff, I think he'd be able to handle the job really, really well.
So the options are to, then he would be appointed come September 1st. But up until that time, he would be working with Bob.
Right.
But so,
When is your term?
It would be up same time, John.
18.
18.
So,
So he would have to run for election.
yeah, either
Primary.
then or a special election.
Or especially.
And I don't know if you can actually, within that close a time period.
I don't think you can have a special election within a year.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
I think.
So, September 1st would be, it would
be
you
outside
could
of
still
here.
have outside it.
But it takes you to, with all the
Yeah.
notification periods, you wouldn't make it.
Right. I mean, of course, it's always a concern, no matter how qualified someone is, that by appointing, we take a little bit of the decision out of the hands of the voters, because
Absolutely.
it's given who the appointee a leg up.
Absolutely.
And it gives them the same standing as
An incumbent.
As an incumbent, yeah.
One thing I would caution you guys on, and Wes has made it very clear, whatever happens, he's good with it. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
He's going to be here. Obviously, he wants the job.
Right, sure, yeah.
I would really caution on you opening it up to the world, because it seems like most times when that happens, those things don't work out. They just don't. People that come from somewhere else, different mentalities.
Well,
Well, I think,
it's not a guarantee it won't work out, but a lot of times that's a
right.
little bit tough situation.
He does seem like he's pretty adversarial towards the commission, and I'm not very interested in having an adversarial relationship with the sheriff.
Yeah. I know one thing. There was a
We cured
comment.
Bob, or Bob cured us.
I think we met in the middle.
No, that's fine.
Kind of horns off. I'll tell you something. But that situation where it was thought that Wes didn't say hi to you, I jumped on that immediately and asked him about that. He said he did say hi, because I didn't say it very loud. He goes, "It's down out." But I know what he thinks about you guys personally. We don't talk about that. I just don't go there. I know professionally in doing the job as sheriff, though, he'll handle that. And I don't know if that's something you guys are willing to look at today, because there's a lot of things that have to take place to get a ball rolling. Henderson left on most notice, and that was
The only concern that I have is not of the qualifications, but the reason a sheriff is an elected official is because the general public gets to decide what degree of law enforcement
Actually,
they want, and that's through the election process. So in theory, they could elect someone that ran on the premise, I'm not going to enforce anything, and that was the level of enforcement they got, or vice versa. So again, it's an issue that we don't want to put our thumb on the scale, but on the other hand, we don't want someone, as you just said, that comes from the outside that has no investment in Cooperstown, and just wants to run his way or her way, or so. I guess I gotta almost refer to whatever your judgment is on that. For my personally, I have that's my I think.
You know, and I don't know what options you have to make him interim sheriff until the election. I can find that out for you, get it in writing, and get that off to you guys, however you want me to do. I'll help you with whatever you want here. I told them, I talked to a couple of commissioners, I made it very clear I'm not just gonna walk away and just throw my key in the desk and say adios. It's not fair to anybody, especially not citizens.
What do you think, Troy?
Well,
And here-
I didn't know this was coming. My personal opinion, I'd like to ponder it for a couple weeks. It's not, I mean, we have a lot of meetings, so.
Yep. And the other thing you guys option, you could do a job interview in West if you want to. You can do that.
That would always be an option, but.
Yeah.
Do a what?
A job interview with them, you know.
Oh,
I'm sure every one of you have questions. I would have questions. I have questions about them right now when you're talking about them.
yeah.
I wasn't gonna walk in here 2 days before the 1st of September and say, oh, by the way, I'm not gonna be here Monday. I'm gone. I wasn't gonna do that.
I mean, my preference would be that you would stay, but I understand you can't.
I believe that'd be my preference
Yeah.
at this point, but.
Yeah, I think waiting 2 weeks might be good, because there are probably a few things you need to check out. I mean, I assume there's no requirement to advertise the position, but
No, I don't think there is, but I probably should do some research.
it seems like you should for the next 2 weeks, and then
It seems like that might be a little bit of a danger to advertise it, but I guess we still have the discretion on who we pay.
as long as it's not required by law.
I know Wells County, they advertised, they got 3 applicants, and the first 2 turned it down.
Yeah,
And the
and
guy they got.
the guy they got is just under indictment, so.
Yeah. Oh, this is a different guy, but he's been down similar roads.
Well, this guy, the Wells, ex-Wells.
Yeah, I know
Sheriff's
that
under
guy.
indictment now. Evidently-
Cooking meth and
Yeah,
dealing.
evidently it was.
He wasn't cooking, he was distributing.
He was confiscating and distributing. It's a supply chain.
And using it too.
Yeah.
It's better than cooking.
So like I said, I'm willing to help you with this process, and it was a very hard decision,
Yeah.
very hard.
So could, in 2 weeks, the next meeting, could you and Wes come and sit down with us?
Yes, yep.
Or would that be okay?
I think so.
And if there's information you want me to get, I'll bring that to the meeting.
No, I mean, just what our options are, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I've looked into Century Code a while ago, and I mean, it's pretty straightforward,
Can do whatever we want, kind of.
pretty much, so,
Based on when the next election is.
yeah, pretty much, so.
I know a lot of them are appointed
Yeah,
in that interim thing, and I still say it, you know, if there's personal conflicts, that's one thing. If there's a conflict with the job that's being done, that's another thing. And I think that, you know, and it does give a thumb up, it does, but it's also for someone who's here, dedicated to the county, owned property here, paid taxes, he's here, he's part of the county. So I just can't just pawn it over, and
yeah. And most-
I think Jamie can speak like he did earlier. He's very capable of doing the work, I think.
Yeah.
So
I think the most important thing is that we get somebody that wants to stay here, because then he is subject to a vote, and
Mhm.
you can't get too out of bounds and still get voted in.
right.
Yeah, on either way, I mean, you know. But
I'll tell you, it's very hard to describe to you guys what the job duties of a sheriff is. It's very hard. It's just, it's so varying. There are no days to say. Things you deal with, and a lot of the people never even know about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any idea. I assume the job involves a whole bunch of behind the scene counseling rather than arresting people.
I've
A lot of late night phone calls, I would imagine.
I've pretty much spent my whole career worrying about people and their property. I was never really big into the traffic thing, because that's not what the sheriff's hired to do. I've always believed that.
That's way
Anderson
down,
believed
way down
that.
at the bottom priorities.
Right.
Okay.
So, if there's anything you guys want from me, email, you can call me, and I'll get whatever options are available. Talk to Jamie about some of it. We'll go from there.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob. Oh, that's it. Next question, Bob. Just one more. So when you guys wear those pistols out, just target shooting and stuff?
Do we wear them out?
Training and whatever?
We do wear them out. They're only good for so much use.
Oh yeah, I know. That's what. So you trade them back in?
Yeah, it depends on how the deals work.
I see.
We had dealt with a place in Minot called the Attic or Sportsman Loft, and they were a Glock dealer, but they weren't a Glock law enforcement dealer because we didn't have one in the state.
Yeah.
But they were supposed to get, and they would give us just shortly under what we paid for them back. Glock pulled their ability to sell to law enforcement away, and they gave it to somebody else who has not. They won't even return phone calls. So we try to get them back to a gun dealer, and then Terry Gray's son asked if he could buy his guns back. I said, well, you can't buy them from us, but if they get traded in for the next set of guns, you could deal with that agent. So,
That's a 19?
this one?
Yeah.
No, this is a 380.
Oh,
I've got a 19.
yeah.
No, I don't have a 19. I got a 40. Right now we have 40s.
Oh.
We just got some 319s in, and it's been proven the 19s shoot better. They're more accurate.
Oh.
They changed the ammunition for 9mm. They're equal to a 40, and there's less recoil. A lot of places have switched.
So you carry 9mm?
Not yet. They're going to be.
Oh. What's that one?
This is a 380. I carry this because the other one's so big when you're sitting in the office and stuff. It's hard on the hip. I've got some nerve damage on my hip when carrying holsters.
That's a Glock.
Yeah.
I just wondered because there's no reason to accumulate them.
No, we want to get rid of them.
Right.
If we get rid of we could trade that for ammo or something in this new one.
Sure.
Yeah, I would never go along with the county selling them. You could. Other places do it, but that to me seems like it's an open door for trouble. If they go through gun dealer, they got to go there, fill out the paperwork. It's
Right.
off our back. They send the county a check before they even sell them. It's done.
That's what the other counties do. I actually talked to Jim Holm out in the sheriff's department out in Burley County, and they're actually working a deal right now too. They gave me like 60 cigs or something from the Attic, but they trade theirs, and after 4, 5, 6 years, they just by the time they get done gunsmithing them, if they have to do anything to them, they say it's more expensive to fix them than it is to trade.
Well, I wouldn't fix them. I was just curious.
But I mean, they make that same gun in 9mm, that same
They
thing,
make
right?
them like
Yeah.
10 different calibers.
This is a little
Yeah.
guide, yeah.
Like now tonight tomorrow night I'll have on my whole thing with my 40.
Right. So that's just a single magazine, or is that stacked side by side?
This is single stack.
Yeah, same as the, yeah.
Our full size are zigzag stack.
Yep, that holds 7 shots, 7.
It's not fully auto.
No.
My 45 holds 15.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That FNX.
Yeah.
But it's balanced nice. If you have if you have the clip out of there, it's really front heavy.
These blocks are really weird that way because they're polymer like a lot of them are now.
Okay,
Right.
that wasn't really business, but
That was the agenda.
Yeah, it was the bills. It was the guns.
Under the bills.
that's true.
I need a motion to accept the
Monthly office reports.
I believe accept the monthly office reports as submitted.
The move by Dale to to accept the monthly office reports as submitted. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Seconded by Ron. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. All right. Road reimbursements. Oh 57, 059, 031, 054. Is that it?
Was it 54, 31, 57?
57, 59, 31, 54.
They're all pretty small amounts.
Yeah, they are. All four of them are not very big.
I move to approve the 4 funding requests for those 4 projects as submitted.
Second.
Moved by Ron and seconded by Sean to submit the reimbursement requests of the 4 projects presented. Is there a second? So there was a second. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Wasn't it supposed to be a roll call then?
Do we do that on these? I suppose it's money.
I don't know, I thought we always did.
Maybe we do. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Troy votes aye. Motion carried. Thanks, Ron. You got ones to sign?
Not yet.
Yeah. This valuations Northwest thing, I think it's just an appraisal company that,
Soliciting.
well, if we had a ton of buildings that we insured, libraries and universities and whatever, they're advocating their services to get an accurate appraisal for a county-owned property so you could properly insure them. But this building is new enough, we kind of know what it's worth. So I don't think that's of any value right now.
No, I wouldn't think so either. I looked at it real quick, but I didn't see that we were big enough to need it.
Are you guys on budget now? I only received these back. I did receive the county agents, but she had a few changes that she wanted me to make, so I hadn't got the time or whatever to do that yet, so I'll have those. But the majority of people were saying that they just did not have the time to get these done for this meeting, but will have them to me as soon as possible. So this is what I have right now.
I have mine here, Samantha. I didn't get it sent off to you.
Okay.
I thought I saw it, didn't
So the senior citizens, they did it individually, so.
Yeah,
It
and-
just needs to be the total, that's their own personal use, it'll just be, have to be the total of all.
Right, and then I add them all up. It gets really confusing. I have every club call me So I think we need to come up with a easier process with that. But,
Can't they all just get together themselves? and
well,
then-
that's what I was thinking too, but
We can combine them.
it's not a big deal. But every year they say, you know, this is a very difficult process for me, and this is why I don't like being the treasurer, and this is, and so I just wish I could make it a little bit easier for the clubs, but. Sorry.
Is there 4 senior citizens?
Yep, 4 clubs, yep,
And we just got Binford and something,
yep,
and we didn't get Hannaford or Cooper. So
correct.
Okay.
They're working on it. Oh, is that it? Well, I have 2.
Where's what page is Cooper's in? I thought I saw him. I thought I saw him before. Yeah, okay, we got Binford, we got
Sutton, Cooperstown.
Sutton. We got, oh, she's from Binford, I guess. This Gail Ralph, where she's from South Binford, that's what her name is.
CEO Ralph is from Sutton.
Well, it says 11 County Road, South Binford.
Yeah, but
That's
it's
her,
Sutton.
that's her address. There,
That's what I mean.
She's Paul Earl's wife. They live on Sutton. That's for Binford, or for Sutton, that's not Binford.
But she must live in Binford, right? Oh,
No, they live south of Highway 200 on Sutton Road, but that's all the addresses out there at Binford.
what's this one?
Well, it's the Sutton.
Oh, that's
But
where.
her address is actually,
Binford.
yeah. On the water management's projection, now like this C2, CT2, that must be an assessment or a levy, huh? And the KD1B, CT2A.
27, page 27, 28,
Or
or 70,
70,
73.
yeah. Well, those must be assessments or levies, aren't they?
They are,
For estimated revenue.
they show receipts on all these, but some of this 2073 is expenses, not receipts. So look at the Carnick drain maintenance on page 72. That's a revenue assessment, $6,975. That's an assessed drain. And go
Oh,
to
yeah.
page 73 and look at the Carnick drain maintenance. They're gonna take in $6,900. They're only gonna spend $2,000 of it. You can't take assessed money
And bank it.
and bank it. I don't think.
I think they can for those maintenance, because they have to build up the fund to actually do, you know, they can't. If they only take in so many dollars, they can't finish the project.
I think they accumulate it until they can hire somebody to then go do the $20,000 clean out or whatever.
So then you can have it the other way too, the CT2A, they're gonna take in $5,000 and they're gonna spend $7,700.
I suppose they've already got some in the bank.
I thought they meant, because of maintenance assessment, CT2A is 5,000. And then the Cooper Tyrol Drain 2 maintenance is 5,000.
I talked to
I
Bob
took those
about
two are the same thing.
completely getting those levied accounts out of their record keeping, because they should just be in and out accounts. They shouldn't be listed in their budget numbers at all.
There was, if you look back at one time, there was 2 checkbooks. There was an assessed drain checkbook and a account, and there was a general
water board account, and at some point within about the last 3 years, it looks like they combined them. Is that correct?
I don't know if that's never been brought up at a meeting that they.
You know, on page 70 of it, there's that one requested 2018, it just says expense 85,000. It seems like that would have to be broken down more on what that $85,000 consists of, because I don't know what we're supposed to put that on.
Yeah, Alan.
Can we go back to the discussion that we had with Bob? I was asked to please ask the commission to hold this information close until it is made official and I have the chance to put out the message myself. Thanks, and thank them for doing so.
Perfect.
Can't be done. It was stated in an open meeting.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, just don't run out and side.
Yeah, don't be, right.
They want
Don't put it on the digital billboard.
Don't put an entry into the parade tomorrow.
Well, I'm down for sure. So yeah, I guess we'll have to wait till we get all the budgets and then have a look at them.
Okay. You want to talk about budgets anymore? Or you done? I don't know why they put all that Oscar Zero stuff in there. I guess that doesn't really pertain to us much, does it?
No, I think they kind of inherited the money from us, Oscar Zero. It was a separate organization, then it went defunct because nobody attended anymore, and the Historical Society just took over that $8,000 account, so I guess it's
Oh, I see.
part of their assets.
So do they still get money from the Air Force for keeping that open?
I don't think so. Not that I know of.
Who pays the people that work out there?
It's the North Dakota State Historical Society. It's a state
Oh,
historical
the
society.
state pays it.
Yeah, so they work for the state
Oh, wow.
historical society.
Nice. Anything else on budgets? Tax director. I don't know what to say about that meeting this morning. Apparently, the century code cannot be taken literally.
What? I'm in court, so
I don't. No, I'm not. I'm not making fun of you, man.
I was just wondering what happened. That's what I thought was gonna happen. I apologize for not being able to be there.
It was a public record exam.
Yeah,
Basically, they didn't take any.
With unclipped fingernails.
We we made the point that we couldn't supply them with the information they needed until we got the information
From the
as to the
recorder.
sales from the recorder, and we specified the century code that dealt with that, and it fell on deaf ears. Basically, they said, do as we say, not as the century code says, and so they want 30 days, they're going to take it before the
Equalization board.
equalization board, and then issue a ruling, and then we'll have 10 days to appeal it. It's pretty evident what's gonna happen. Our contention was that we couldn't file the information, we couldn't give them the information that we could verify as correct. Were these sales, did they meet the criteria of the exclusions? But they pretty much told us flat out that didn't make any difference. And as I interpret what they were saying is, give us the information, we don't care if it's completely accurate or not, it's just to the best of your ability. And they want the information so that they can conduct the sales ratio study. I think that point got across, that it is their job to conduct the sales ratio study. So we have to supply them with the information in a downloaded form. We can upload it to the internet. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't appear like it's going to be a winning battle to try and fight this thing. So I believe that we should take the century code then literally, and to mean that if the recorder filed the deed
According to the
recorded
century code.
and it has a value on it, that is then
A usable
the
number.
usable number. That's that way we have a defensible position. We can say, okay, the century code says that you either have to put the exclusion on the face of the deed or you have to put the usable number on it. We'll just take that at its face. So if there is a usable number, a value on there, we're gonna use it. If we can't, if we don't have enough sales in 2016, let's pull back into 15 and take the usable sales there, let's send it to them. I think we should send them a letter first, out of this meeting here today, a registered letter to Rausenberger, so that it stops this whole process, because the process is going forward. Right or wrong doesn't make any difference in this. It's their interpretation of the century code versus our interpretation of the century code. And
The assistant attorney general is there, and we already know that the attorney general's opinion is not going to be in our favor.
right.
So we might as well just do it.
So I think we should write a letter along this framework. I think to Ryan Rauschenberger, tax commissioner, so following the hearing, parentheses, in the matter of the review of Griggs County sales, market, and productivity study, the Griggs County Commission has voted to comply with the provisions of 570107, paragraph 1, using the best information available at this time and taking into account the factors of equalization as the Commission understands them to be. And again, we can go ahead and fight this thing, but it's not going to get us anywhere. And they very well might be vindictive against the citizens of Griggs County over this. They might raise the valuations. So, you'll have to read the century code, Jamie. But I don't think that it was fairly evident they're not going to take that into account.
I'll listen to the meeting this
Yeah.
afternoon.
So I'd make a motion that we have this letter drafted and sent registered mail to the tax commission.
It's been moved by John that we send the letter to the tax commissioner, certified, that he just recited for us. Is there a second to the motion? Is there any discussion? Any discussion?
yeah, well, I guess in the discussion part of it, we could go and try to scrutinize each individual transaction and apply our best guess as to whether or not any of the exclusions apply, but it wouldn't be defensible, because we don't have the information to defend whether or not there's an exclusion or not. So the only thing we can do is to fall back, and if the deed was recorded and it had a value, that has to be the value. Because that is the criteria.
It's a hard number.
The criteria is either it has a value or it has an exclusion on the face of the deed, and that's the only two options. And if it has an exclusion on the face of the deed, and you can't record it unless it has one or the other. So we have to assume that she was doing her job and asking the questions, and those deeds then are usable, although she wouldn't attest to that. So I'm afraid right or wrong isn't going to be an issue here. It's going to be what has to be done.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're saying, on like the BX report, if Connie filled it out, and she said this was a sale between two brothers, just ignore that?
That is excluded.
Okay, so, but, I mean, the only thing I have is that unsigned thing from Connie saying these two guys are related or something. But
That's fine. I think it was evident that the state isn't gonna make the recorder follow the rules of the BX report. They're gonna accept whatever the recorder puts down as fact. So let's take everything that she puts down, let's use it as fact.
So if Connie put usable, we'll use it. If she put it's not usable, then don't use it.
I think so. I think that's, I think,
They're not gonna make that determination. They're gonna make the tax director make that determination, whether it's usable or not.
right.
And we're using every hard number as usable.
Tax
Yeah,
director
using
can't
every-
make that determination.
Huh?
Tax director has no way of getting that information.
No, but that's what they want the tax director to do.
That's why we were going in circles.
But don't we fall back to the point that if it had a hard number on the
It's
face of the
it's
deed
valid.
and they registered and they recorded the deed, it's valid.
Yeah.
That's the only defensible position we
It'll
have.
be consistent, whether it's accurate or not.
It doesn't matter.
No.
So if it's got an exclusion on the face of the deed,
Goes in this pile. It's
and
got
if
a
it's
hard
got a
number.
hard
goes
number
in
and it's
this pile.
recorded, it's usable.
Yeah.
But I won't be looking at the face of any deeds. I'm just gonna look at that BX report.
Right.
And if the BX report says usable, I'll say it's usable. If
Yep.
the BX report says it's non-usable, I'll say it's non-usable.
That's what I'd do.
But if it's blank, we have to assume it's usable.
If there's a number on it.
Okay, because there are some of them that are blank.
Yeah, as far as usable or unusable.
Yeah.
If it's blank, we have to assume it's usable.
Okay,
I think, we have to be consistent in this thing.
yeah. Because I know one of them said it was usable, but under type of property, it said commercial and residential. Well, to me, that's not usable, but they said it was usable. And I don't know whether to put it under commercial or residential on the, so, there's gonna be a few things like that. And then, of course, with commercial sales, I can use all of 2016 and get 3 of them. And I can go back to 2015 and get 3 more.
Good enough. That's
And
all we
then
got.
Well, I could go back to 2014, I suppose, and to get 3 more, or 2013.
There's only 3 commercial sales and,
Well, I think maybe I'm exaggerating a little. I think there was 16 commercial sales in 2016 and 2015.
well, I thought there was more than that on this.
But 8 of them were usable and 8 of them non-usable.
Well,
I didn't think there was that many businesses in Griggs County.
And it was marked non-usable on the form?
Yes, some of them were marked non-usable. About half of them were marked non-usable, and half of them either. And then if Linda comes back and says, "Well, you need to do some appraisals," that's where I'm not going to do any appraisals, obviously.
No, but then the state steps in to help with the appraisals.
Yeah, and it did say someplace if you can keep going back to 2016, 2015, 14, 13. I don't have records for those years, but I can try from Connie or somebody to find out what. I've got 16 and 15, but I don't have 14. And
Must be
13.
in the state's database, isn't it?
No, I don't think so. Because I've asked for them before, and they always referred me back to the county. So.
Oh,
But didn't the state list on their sales ratio study, the 16 sales ratio study, which was the 15 sales, didn't that list like 23 of them, commercial sales?
Yeah, but I don't know where they got those. I have no idea where they got those. We don't have. They're not in our records.
You probably,
That just attests
I,
to the,
I think they probably did appraisals. And I think, a while back, Connie had hired the tax director from Dickey County or something.
Mm-hmm.
And the tax director from Dickey County made up this list of stuff. And I couldn't see that it matched anything the state had, but I think Connie may have done that and had the Dickey County tax director make up, well, more or less do appraisal just from, I don't know how he did it.
would it be helpful to get in touch with them and find out what they did and get in touch with the tax department and see where those 23 came from?
Yeah, it's obvious that the county commission interaction with the tax department is not going to work, and they are not willing to listen to our side of this, and so
well, they're openly hostile.
as well as being openly hostile, combative. I mean, they came loaded for bear. They brought three attorneys, the state tax commissioner, the state
deputy.
the deputy, and it was obvious what the mission was, and how do you fight that? I don't think you want to fight it. Waste your time fighting it because it's just it'll go before a court, and the court is the bureaucracy, and they're going to side with the bureaucracy. That's all there is to it. So we just have to give them what they want, and hopefully it's not detrimental to the taxpayers.
And then I suppose I should bring whatever I come up with to the next meeting, so the commissioners or tax directors can look at it. And, I'll show the ones I put as usable and why from the BX reports, and non-usable, and what judgments I made. Because, some of them said it's usable, but the sales price was $10. Well, that's not usable.
Well, if we follow it to the letter of the century code, it probably is.
Well,
Depends on what it was, but
it was like the assessed value was $23,000, sales price $10, but I'm sure it was a quick claim. But
Well, if it's a quick claim, then it's not usable.
They're not usable equipment.
but it was checked usable. And I wasn't planning on going through all those that were checked usable and using my own judgment that no, that's not really usable.
No, I think that's just, then it's just open for, somebody can question it.
Yeah, so I could put it as usable, but it's sold for $10.
Yeah,
I'd throw it out and take my chances, but that's me.
they didn't give us any indication, they didn't give us any guidance on how we were supposed to do this. We asked specifically how we were supposed to do it, and no guidance. You're supposed to equalize the properties amongst each other. Well, the state doesn't equalize counties to county. All they do is look at the sales ratio study, and they make sure it falls within the 90th percentile, and they do that county by county. That's not equalizing county to county. That's just putting each county in a 90th percentile and leaving it at that.
Mm-hmm. And that's when that one lady said, did you equalize between Cooperstown, Binford, and Hannaford? That's when you should have said, yeah, we're gonna lower Cooperstown to the Binford numbers.
Well, a redundant question. Of course, we equalize the equalization. To answer otherwise would say that we didn't do our job at the equalization meeting.
Yeah, but how do, a 1,200 square foot home in Binford sells for what, 70% of one in Cooperstown? How the hell do we equalize that?
Again, it's such a subjective.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be
Procedure.
equalized. Because the market's different.
But that was her question. Did you equalize between townships? Did you equalize between Cooperstown, Binford, and Hannaford?
Yeah, but I mean, you also have to take what she said with a little bit of skepticism, because she wanted the decision of one of us to be the decision of all of us.
I know.
I mean, we couldn't make a decision as a county commission unless we sat down and voted on it like we're doing here. That's why we should vote on this. Here's our decision. When he asked us for our decision, we couldn't answer that.
Mm-hmm.
There was no way to do that. But not one of those lawyers is supposed to be defending the open meeting laws said you can't do that. So it tells you the deck was stacked right there.
But it wasn't a special meeting, right? I did notice it as a special meeting, so you guys could have voted on it.
Or I know, but they
We weren't even in session.
no
Yeah, I thought you noted it as a public hearing.
public hearing.
Because the thing you said now said there'll be a public hearing. It didn't say special meeting.
I noticed it as a special meeting on the door of Pete's
Yeah,
Ranch
that's-
and on the
and
website.
that's fine. But we weren't even in session. We were just in attendance. And to require us to give a decision they asked us flat out, we want a decision on whether or not you're going to comply with the findings of this hearing. We couldn't do that unless we were in session and voted on it.
I just took that we were in session, like,
We didn't call the meeting to order.
Yeah, the meeting would have to be called to order.
No, we were in attendance. That's why it was a special meeting.
Two should have said yes and two should have said no and then left the last.
Did you notice that we weren't sitting at the head table?
no, I know. But I have the recorder, and so I still have to do minutes
We're on the
for
Barbie
that.
spit.
And we didn't say the pledge of allegiance.
We didn't conduct the meeting.
So I don't have to do any minutes.
I'd just keep that tape, keep that recording someplace.
Yeah, do we, Jimmy?
What's that?
We don't have to have minutes of that meeting. We weren't in session. I mean, is it any different than us going to the township officers meeting and being in attendance?
Well,
I'd take
But there
minutes
were-
for that.
but there was a quorum and county matters were discussed. I don't know if you guys discussed county matters, but there was a quorum and county matters were discussed.
We were discussing the North Dakota Century Code.
County matters were
I even
discussed.
read it to them, and they told me that wasn't right.
County matters were discussed. Yeah, probably, but no county decisions were made.
But if there's, I think, and
We didn't even say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
But you discussed county business, and I think any discussion of county business between a quorum has to be a meeting. It is considered a meeting. So if there was a quorum and you discuss the county business, it's a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
But in the minutes, you only are supposed to put down what actions are taken, not what
Well, for the minutes, all you have to do is say
was
There was
said,
special
not
meeting.
what was done, not
What was
what was
done.
said.
Griggs County Commissioners attended a hearing held by the North Dakota Tax Commissioner. No business,
No
no
action.
action was taken. That's all you need to do for the
Yeah,
minutes.
that would cover it.
Mhm.
But it was a meeting since all four, how many, some of the four of you guys were there, five of you guys were there.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. But again, we couldn't make a decision there. What I said or what Troy said or Ron or any of the rest of us said wasn't a decision of the county commission. It was a part of the discussion.
Rauschenberger was trying to get, he was saying, okay, Ron, on behalf of the county commissioners, are you going to comply? Then Ron said, well, I can't speak on behalf of the county commissioner.
Right.
Why would they ask something like that? You just want to vote of the commission to be able to get the commissions.
That's not how he asked the question.
No, and he said, are you gonna comply with the Board of Equalization for equalizing Griggs County? And the response was, that's redundant, we already equalized Griggs County. This is for the benefit of the state equalization. So we never did answer the question, but I think they took it in the negative, that we weren't going to
Provide that.
comply. But this motion before now, the commission in session will clarify that. Yes, we are gonna comply. And that'll make it formal, and I think if it's voted on, I think we should then send a registered mail to Washington.
Read the motion.
It was originally.
Motion by Wakefield to send a letter to the state tax commissioner in response to the meeting.
Then he's got the language in it too.
He read the letter.
Okay, so you want me to put the letter in there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the motion.
Right. And that this letter be delivered, registered mail to Ryan Washington, North Dakota State Tax Commission.
Just registered return receipt.
Yeah.
We should put the definition that's on your T-shirt in the letter too.
I'm sure there's an emoji for this.
I had a shirt over it in that meeting, but
I was gonna
I was
ask about that.
getting to the point. I would have already taken it off.
But it was evident that the logical discussion wasn't going to hold any weight, that they were there for a purpose, and the purpose was to prove that they had authority over
To
us.
spank us.
They were unhappy about having to drive from Bismarck on Friday.
Yeah, use
They,
this.
they set up the hearing.
I know.
No, that's in parentheses.
I thought I was gonna be able to make it this morning. Then all sorts of things went wrong about 4:45 this morning.
Here, this is in
Oh, okay.
bracketed, because that was the meeting.
Thank you.
Did you guys get rain the other night?
Up there or over
Oh, at the farm.
a couple drops, I guess.
Jimmy Fell had 2 1/4 inches. What did you get down there that night? That was going towards you, wasn't it?
9/10.
They got hail south of us, so just a couple miles south of Sutton. I think Ramsey's got hail just south of the highway.
Brian said the water's running
No.
over Lawrence's driveway. It
I don't have a
hasn't
second.
done
yet.
it since '93.
So they got more than 2 inches.
Where?
Lawrence Stever.
Really? We got 8/10 in about 10 minutes in hail last Thursday night. Just right by the, I don't know, right by the creek. And then at home, it didn't rain.
I think I got 7,500s on the 4th of July and then 4/10 the next day.
We missed the fourth rain too.
We didn't get anything on the board. Couple drops.
Then on the 5th, there was hail in that. Beat my corn up a little bit. Poked a few holes in my silage bags. I had to go taping last night when I got home from work.
I need a second to that motion.
Dale did.
You did. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. And then $57. Did you vote on it?
We have not voted. We were just discussing it along with the rain totals.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm on the same page.
Is there any more discussion on the motion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Yeah, I guess, my discussion isn't on the motion, I mean, I agree with that, but just on the process then, that, I'll look this thing up, and God, I'd be happy to send drafts of it to all 4 or 5 commissioners saying, do not discuss, but this is what I believe we should do. And then you cannot get back to me to discuss it.
Right.
But
I would send it to her and then have her distribute it
okay,
and then call a special meeting to discuss it.
if we need.
Well, we can wait till next meeting to approve it. We don't, this thing
No,
does,
the letter's going out, it's right away, so.
yeah, but that's already approved.
Right,
Uh-huh.
yeah. That'll put a
He's
stop.
talking about this study.
But yeah, so that you have a chance before the 21st meeting
Right.
to look at it. Then on the 21st meeting, you guys can say, geez, I don't think we should include this one, or I don't think we should include that one. Or I think we should change this one from usable to non-usable and all the way through it, I guess.
Yeah.
And then if I Well, depending on how many I have, I guess, like, I can send out 2016 and 15 right away. 2014 is gonna take me a while. 2013 take me a little longer. But as I accumulate it, I'll just try to keep you up to speed.
Okay.
On find it.
And if there's some that are questionable,
Yeah,
I can always go on the Endrin and look at it.
okay,
I'll be able to tell if it's a same family or whatever.
okay, so
If there's a deed that's in question, I can go look at the deed.
I still think we should use the criteria as if it's got a value on it, it's usable. Because that's really what the century code says.
No, it doesn't. If Kelly does her job, that's what you do.
Well, but we have to assume she's doing her job, because if she wasn't doing her job, she couldn't register the deed. So if those deeds are registered and they have a value on them, we have to assume that they're correct. I mean, it would be.
Let's look at them first
Yeah,
before we
I mean, because
try to
we're gonna
second
get,
guess the process.
they spanked us today for not being subjective, and they'll spank us tomorrow for being too subjective. So there has to be, okay, it's got a price on it, it's usable. Because and if it's recorded, it's got a price on it, it's usable.
Well, then we should be able to use that information next year, then just
Yeah.
knock 1 year off and add the new one.
And I mean,
Right?
no egg sales even are ever listed anymore, so we don't need to worry about that hardly at all.
well, I guess not, no. Unless technically we're supposed to send them in.
No, there's no prices on any of them anymore.
Well, I have on the BX reports, there's prices.
There is,
on-
yeah.
On the egg sales.
Under 80 acres. Under 80 acres
It is not usable.
right.
But a lot of the others, I have a sales price like 400,000 or 500,000 or 800,000. I don't know where it comes from, but it's on the BX.
Oh, wow. You don't have to list that on any deeds. I mean, anything I bought lately, All Jets has done, there's no price on those deeds.
Yeah, I don't know where it comes
There's
from.
a little statement on the bottom of the deed that says the true and full value, or not the, whatever, the true sales price. Consideration was given to the state tax department, but it's not on the deed.
I've never had a deed that I've done for myself either that has the purchase price on it.
Yeah, I don't know where they come from, where those numbers come from, but it's on the BX reports.
So there's only 3 BX reports for commercial for 2016.
Well, for 16 and 15, I think there might have been 16, but only 8 of them are acceptable. About 3 or 4 for 16, and 3 or 4 for 15.
And that was by Connie's.
Well, yeah. Well, Connie didn't sign them. Nobody signed them for the last 8 months. Before that, Patricia Lawrenson signed them, and then there's Emily Wiggins signed 1 or 2.
Okay, so how do we know they're not usable?
Well, there's got to be a reason on there.
But the only criteria is either on the face of the deed it lists exemption, or in the face of the deed it lists the price. If it lists an exemption, it's not usable. If it lists the price, it's usable. So we don't want to get subjective with this. So if it lists a price, and even though someone checked unusable, it's still usable if they recorded that.
Okay, that's different from I didn't understand before. That's what you're saying now is different.
That's what
from
the
I
century code
understood.
says.
So
We assume that when she recorded that deed, that she had went through the procedures via the century code and determined that deed was usable because she recorded it.
So in that case, just ignore whether it says usable or unusable. If there's a number,
I don't know if that's what the century code says. I gave mine to.
take a leak.
I got it right here. I threw mine at Devlin.
Okay, here we go, got it. Okay, any grantee or grantee's authorized agent who presents a deed in the office of the county recorder shall certify on the face of the deed one of the following. A statement of full consideration paid for the property conveyed. B, a statement designating one of the exemptions in subsection 6 with which the grantee believes applies to the transaction. Paragraph 3, the recorder may not record any deed unless the deed complies with subsection 1. So that's the only two provisions as I understand it. And so that if she records the deed, it must have complied with subsection 1, which would either have the price on the face or an exemption. So any recorded deed without an exemption is usable.
If it doesn't have an exemption, it has to have the full price.
That's how I read it, yeah. So we have to assume that she did her job, and the mere fact that she recorded it without an exemption listed in the face makes it usable. So that should give us a whole bunch of usable properties.
A lot more.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that how you read this?
Well, yeah.
So I think that's what we should make the policy, and then that's defensible. I mean, there's no way they can come and say, okay, you guys you should not have used that. We'll say we had to use it. It didn't have an exemption on it, and she filed it, and she recorded it, so it has to be usable.
And I'm not even sure that statement of full consideration, like for 2013, I don't even know if that was a law that you had to put the statement of full consideration on a deed. So going back, it might not, we might only be able to go back 2 years.
Right, but I think anything with a price on it that's filed, we need to consider that as usable. That's my interpretation of this thing. I mean, they didn't go along with what the Century Code said, but that doesn't mean we don't have to follow it. We just have to assume that she did her job because she filed it. Did we have a second on this? Yeah, we did. Oh, yeah,
It's already passed.
Then on the tax director's position, I think one more thing we should do. I think we should clarify that we are not the tax director. That we are assuming the duties, but we are not the tax director. Because by being the tax director, we allow the state to dictate it to us policy. The state has the ability to tell the tax director what to do in the commission of the tax of the duties prescribed. And if we're just county commissioners, they don't have the ability to tell us per se what to do. They have the ability to require us to for the end result, but not the actual step by step process. Because they use that to their advantage. That the last time Linda was here, she said we couldn't be the tax director, and it was very evident today that they kept calling us the tax director.
No, I'm fine with that. I'm not sure if it'll make too much difference. I mean, they'll say, well, you assume the duties of tax director, so therefore you must do this and you must do this, but
Well, it's gonna get to our desk anyway, because we're responsible for the tax director.
But it gives them more leverage over it. So I would say that to clarify it, I would like to make the motion that we resign. The Griggs County Commission resigns as the Griggs County Tax Director. That's what I would like to do.
And then what?
Doesn't say we can't comply, doesn't say we can't comply with the duties, and I mean, we're just doing it, because there's no one else to step in.
Your motion is to have the county commission resign or you resign? Sorry, I'm trying to
No,
get
no.
this worded.
The motion would be to have the county commissioners resign as the tax director.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, because I think before, the motion was to appoint ourselves as a governing body to be the
Interim tax director.
interim tax director, so now the motion, I guess, would be to have the Griggs County Commissioners.
Resign
Governing
as
body
as
resign.
interim tax director.
Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Okay. Discussion.
I think at the same time, we should run an ad in the paper again, looking for a tax director.
Courier, Steele County, Foster County, Barnes County, Stutzman County. What did you run before?
We did 3 or 4, I
I
think.
think we did the Valley, Foster, Steele, Griggs, and Nelson.
I thought you did Barnes County or Stutzman.
Yeah, we did Barnes
What's Barnes County?
County.
Valley City.
We did Valley City. Yeah, Valley, Griggs, Nelson, Steele, and and Foster.
Not Jamestown. No.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we better deal with the motion on the table first.
Yep.
I don't know what that gets us exactly. but-
It doesn't get us much, it gets a little bit of separation.
Will it hinder the process of,
Well, we're responsible for the tax director anyway, so
right, but I mean stuff that needs to be signed by the tax director? I suppose we can still just act on it here. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Were you gonna make a motion to advertise that tax director position, John?
Yeah, I'll so move, make a motion to advertise the tax director position in the same publications and the same
Job description.
language as job description as the last one,
So the same 5.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Second.
It's been moved by John, seconded by Sean, that we re-advertise for the tax director's position. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale? Ron?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Troy votes aye. Motion carries. New courthouse, old courthouse. Bob's gonna be gone in September. We got an old courthouse.
Yeah, last meeting we talked about draining the water. That should probably be done. Then we need to make a decision whether or not we're gonna keep it heated.
Well, I don't think there's a question about that. I think we do have to keep it heated so it doesn't start falling apart.
Mm-hmm. So who has the ability to come in here and winterize stuff? I mean, there's gotta be so many dead end pipes in that thing that, I mean, if it should happen to heat go out and, you know,
On the heating system or on the drinking water, domestic water? system?
domestic water.
That's all you want to drain is the domestic water?
Well, if we're gonna heat it, we gotta,
Yeah, okay, I just.
but I mean, just in the event that something
Yeah.
happened to the heating system and, you know, you wouldn't freeze up the water that way.
You got the ability to go in there and trace the pipes?
Yeah, but I mean, how many are dead end pipes? I mean, that don't drain. I mean, what happens if something goes here and then the water source comes out here and this one's been capped off and it's downhill, but you'll never get the water out of it, will you?
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it.
Usually if there's no pressure in there, they can kind of take some of that.
Depending on how much downhill they are, you know. And then we should reduce the electrical load to it too. I mean, how much stuff is plugged in there that doesn't need to be plugged in?
So, is there still stuff running over there?
Oh,
I don't know.
What would be plugged in over there?
Well, I think maybe just everybody should go to their offices, just send an email out, everybody should go to their offices and make sure that everything's unplugged.
Everything's unplugged.
I think the basement's got water in it.
Does it?
Got wet in there.
The sheriff's office got really wet.
What did happen?
Oh,
The
one of them
two-inch
times it
rain.
rained really hard.
Probably that day that Cooper got 3 inches of rain about 3 weeks ago.
I think it was in June sometime.
It was last Monday in June, wasn't it?
I think so, something like that. For the Tuesday, June 13th, I think. So I think I was on my way to auditor's convention then. That's when we got all the rain.
But maybe we can instruct Brian to unplug everything over there, make it true. I'm sure there's some of the air conditioners are still plugged in, all that kind of stuff, isn't it?
No, I don't think he got the AC units in by the
Moved
time
in
we
in
moved
March,
over.
so we moved in March, so I bet the window units probably aren't in.
I don't know.
But weren't there some mini, like up in the commissioner's chambers, that was a mini split?
Oh, that's right.
I mean, there's 3-4 of them hanging on the walls up there.
Probably running.
I doubt it. Somebody should go look anyway.
Yeah,
Okay, so have Brian go and do that.
yeah, any unused electrical should be either circuit breaker shut off or unplugged or.
Ask them how big a deal it would be to get the water drained out of there too, the domestic water.
Okay.
Offices like this, that could be a big black festering cesspool.
It's a problem back there because like back where the social services used to be, there's a wood floor over the concrete. So I don't know how the hell you get it dried out in there.
So, I mean, I'm sure the domestic hot water heater's probably on yet.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of water heaters they had. Sure, there's more than one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there was one upstairs in the bathrooms.
So, I mean, those should be drained and
Turned off. Shut off first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Future business?
I've never said anything about the DES position, but I suppose that's something you guys ought to think about.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, maybe next meeting we can decide to advertise, because by then Bob will have made it public. We can place an advertisement just in the Courier, I imagine.
So put the DES position on the agenda. Right?
It was just it was just my comment, I don't know if you need to write it down or anything.
That's not a panic deal either. Really, is it?
No, I don't think so at all.
Anything else? We adjourn. Moved by Sean to adjourn. Is there a seconded motion? Seconded by Dale. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned at 2:48 p.m. The next regular meeting will be on July the 21st at 1 p.m.